everyone, and welcome to our very second Dark Souls panel series called Bonfire Banter. I'm super excited to be kicking this off. The idea behind the series is every month I bring together a small group of seasoned Souls players, and I bring them together to talk about their experiences, the community, how these games have influenced us, not just in like gameplay, but in even like other areas of our life, like content creation, like our journey, everything like that. The questions we're going to be asking are a mix of funny, thought-provoking, and debate-worthy, at least in my opinion, but I'm biased because I made the questions. The goal is really to try to keep it spoiler-free. If you don't know, I am playing Dark Souls Remastered for the very first time right now, and so I only know like this much of the entire series. But also, like, if you say a name that's in, like, 2 games from now, I'm not going to remember because I have the brain of a goldfish. So, names, totally cool, but, like, big, like, plot twists, things like that, we're going to try and stay away from. To get us started, I would love to have each of our panelists introduce themselves, tell us a little bit about who you are, what kind of content you create, and how Dark Souls fits into that, or any of the Souls-like games. So, we're just going to go around, and our first is, wow, brain and words are all of a thing. We're going to go, I almost said alphabetically, we're going to go clockwise, and so right underneath me is Tessera. So why don't you kick us off?
Yeah. So hi there, I'm Tessera, and I play a lot of Souls games. I started playing Souls games in 2018, and that's kind of what kicked off my love for video games again after college, and that's how I actually got into streaming too. I started playing, I really enjoyed Dark Souls 1 and the lore behind it, so that was a big reason why I started. And but I also play a lot of like open world story-based games like God of War and Assassin's Creed, anything like that. But I also do some indie games sometimes too. Off stream, I do play like cozy games on my own, or I'll also play co-op games. I try to stay away from PvP because I get a little ragey and I'm not the best at them. So, but otherwise, kind of loud, kind of chaotic. And I accidentally succeed at things sometimes in video games, and I don't know how I did it, so, yeah.
That is a vibe. The accidentally succeeding is absolutely a vibe, yes. And you're a super great Peak player, so...
Oh, I don't know about that, but thank you.
Yeah.
I may accidentally throw a coconut at your face and get you yeeted off the cliff.
Oh, no. I mean, that happens, too. That happens to the best of us. But continuing on, we have Joe and Tay.
Hello, hi everyone. I'm Joseph.
Taylor.
And as you've probably guessed from things we've already said, we're a married couple, and we stream together, and we've been doing it now for going on 5 years next year. We play a lot of Souls games, a lot of horror games, and really just a bunch of other things. Like Tessera, we also don't do a whole lot of PvP or any PvP really, or like shooters, anything like that. It's just not really our vibe. Souls is a huge part of our channel, and has been since the beginning. When we first started streaming, we streamed one of the Dark Pictures games, and we were streaming the first Dark Souls game. It was my first time playing the first Dark Souls game, but I actually started playing Souls games about 10 years ago, right after Bloodborne released. So I've been in the game for a while with Souls games, but it's been really fun. It's been a really fun journey to stream together and like praise each other's accomplishments in Souls games and do things like that. Taylor, you have anything you want to add?
I think you've hit most of the points. We've had a really fun time just streaming and getting to know everybody in, our Twitch community, adjacent Twitch communities, and everybody in Firekeepers.
Absolutely. Yep. I love that. I love that you're so complimentary of one another. Like, your vibe is just so great. And I love that you were like, we get to praise each other for like the things we do. And like, I'm over here. My boyfriend's just like, I can beat Dark Souls in like 100 deaths or less. Like, I don't know how you're already that high. And I'm like, show me then. And like, I want to just beat him. And you guys are so cute and so sweet to one another.
We do give each other a lot of crap.
Yeah, we really do. And sometimes, like, one of the things we do on our channel is we beat bosses together sometimes. So we have a channel point redeemed for sharing the controller and beating a boss together. We've been doing that, and we've been successful probably like 8 or 9 times out of all the times it's ever been redeemed. So it's pretty cool that we can communicate that way, that we're able to even share a controller and beat a boss together. So yeah, wouldn't want to stream without her. Wouldn't do it by myself. So
it's so cute. So
she runs the back end.
I want a little bit more clarification on the sharing a controller. Do you literally like both grab like just half of it?
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Yep. So basically, what we do, I get one side. We basically split the controller in half, and then we just play like this. Yeah.
Wow.
Incredible. That's so cool.
Yeah.
I think the first time we put it on our channel very early on, so I guess back in like 2021, and I think the first time we actually successfully beat a boss was Star Wars Jedi.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, Jedi Fallen Order.
Yeah, it was the last boss, and I was like, holy crap, did we just do that?
All of this is so great. You guys are so... I'm so excited to be hanging out with you guys. And we do have one last friend joining us. Little one you are, tell us a little bit about you.
Hi, hello. I am Little When You Are. Also go by Zoe. My pronouns are she, her. I face my fears in video games and beyond while sharing my mental health journey. I say facing my fears. When I started streaming, I focused on horror games. I was really scared to play them, but I decided when I started streaming that I was going to give it a try, and now they're some of my favorite games genre to play. But I also discovered Souls games. Dark Souls Remastered was the first one that I played, but then didn't end up completing it until a couple years later. And so then I've also played Bloodborne, completed that, as well as Elden Ring, and I'm currently going through my first playthrough of Dark Souls 3. But like, I share my journey with my mental health just to show others that they aren't alone, even if I can't relate to exactly what people are going through. Just, I know that that's been something that's been helpful for me, and so that's something that I always try to integrate into what I do. And Souls games have kind of helped show me in a way that it's okay to fail, because you can try a boss over and over again, and you only have to win that one time, and when you do, it feels so good. But yeah. So, love Souls games, and I am very thankful for the Souls community because I've met so many incredible people, including the people in the Firekeepers, and I'm very excited to just talk about that stuff.
Yes, exactly. I love that you bring it up. Like, that's exactly why we're here, to talk about, like, how we can, like, come together as a community, and, like, how Souls can, like, help us grow. And, because I feel like it should be a rite of passage that most people at least try the game. It was kind of a shock to me today. Jen said that most people will quit after the tutorial boss of Dark Souls, and I was just like, but that's like, I get it. Like, I was running around. I went against that boss several times, just running around in circles, being like, I don't know what to do. I have half a sword. I have no clothes on. And then Jen came into the chat and was like, hey, there's this one thing. I was like, oh my god, okay, this game is a little bit more than I thought. So, awesome. I'm super excited to be hanging out with you guys today. We are going to get into a couple of questions. Our categories for questions are gameplay, funny, meta, debate, and then content. And I'm going to start us off with funny. So I want to start off by asking you guys, what is the dumbest way you have died in game? And I know we started with Sarah for the intro, so we're gonna start with Joe and Tay.
The dumbest way we've died in a game?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I have a really big issue with gravity in video games. So I know that's not necessarily a dumb way to die, but that is my biggest hurdle in video games is falling off the edge of something, potentially getting pushed off the edge of something, jumping and not landing it. That is my biggest struggle.
You're terrible at jumping.
I really am.
Terrible at jumping.
Yeah.
Gravity's so mean.
I'm glad it's not just me.
Man, I don't. The dumbest way I've died. The dumbest way I've died in a game. I've died in so many ways. I don't even know if I've died in many dumb ways so much as I've just experienced glitches that made me fail at something. When I was playing Dark Souls 1, not gonna say names because spoilers. When I was playing Dark Souls 1, there's one particular boss, and I was fighting said boss, and somehow got stuck behind there's bones, and I got stuck behind the bones, almost like a prison, and I couldn't move, and I couldn't do anything, and I just had to quit out of the game. I also, our PlayStation crashed in the middle of a Demon Souls boss run. I was about to kill a boss in Demon Souls, and our PlayStation crashed, and I had to redo the boss multiple times after that. So yeah. So I think it's more. I can't remember a particular dumb way I've died, but I can remember glitches that have glitches or crashes that have made me fail at something. And that's not to say that I don't die in dumb ways. I just don't remember them.
That's valid. Yes. The technology death still those shouldn't even count. They're frustrating though, for sure. Continuing
for
on
sure.
to the little one you are. Tell us about the dumbest way you've died.
Oh gosh. I mean, I've definitely had some very interesting gravity deaths. I feel like if anyone has ever, come across an elevator, and that's all I'm gonna say. Sometimes you forget that the platform is not there, and then you fall for forever and regret everything as you fall to the floor. But I have a tendency to get stuck on really silly things, and I get myself backed into corners. So I think probably the most recent example I can think of is that I was just in an area in Dark Souls 3. I'm not going to specify anything. I was fighting some enemies, and I was going on my way to a boss, and I got stuck on the very corner of a set of stairs. The very corner, and I could not move. I could not back up, and then I was killed in 2 hits, and I was like, why was I stuck here? There's just things like that just seem to happen so often. But yeah, besides just falling into endless pits that I shouldn't have, because I should have pulled the lever for elevators.
I love it. Love it. I will also be answering questions, so that way, I also get to answer the things that I wrote down. So I think the dumbest way that I've died that I can think of, I mean, there's gravity, because it's the real boss of Dark Souls is what I'm finding out. And then there was one time, it is going to be a glitch-based one. There was one time that I got stuck. I was in Blighttown, because that doesn't give any spoilers away, except for that it's a town. I got stuck in some mud against a wall, and then this terrifying, fire-breathing bug. It was just oh, you're my snack now, and I'm just thank you. And it was very upsetting, because I was yelling the whole time, and I try to not be a super ragey person, but getting stuck is that time where I'm just thank you, game. Thank you. I felt like it was doing good, and then you very much humbled me. So that's probably the dumbest way I can think of right now. There are probably dumber ones, but that's what I got right now.
People really hate Blighttown.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah. I was happy to be done through there.
It is not a fun place.
Yeah.
If you play the original one that came out, I played it on my PlayStation 3, that place will destroy frame rates, and you can't do anything, hardly.
Oh my.
It's a scary place.
It's terrifying. No. I now have a crystal lizard that's a fidget toy that I have named after my hate of Blighttown. So my little crystal lizard, his name is Blighty.
That's cute.
Thank you.
I love that.
Alrighty, and last but not least with this question, Sarah Barra, what is the dumbest way you died?
I know we've all said gravity, but I have two specific instances of gravity-related deaths that they live with me. They persist in my memory. One was in Elden Ring. I was fighting a boss, and it's the boss in like the really big capital area, and I was running around, and right after I beat the boss, before I sat down at the Grace, I was like, oh, there's like a little, like, you could jump over like a little, it looked like a fence, short little fence, and I was like, oh, I wonder what's down there. Just death. So
No.
I lost all my runes and everything, but it was just like I just popped over it, and I was like, oh, never mind. So that was like, I died to gravity a lot by my own choices. It's not because I die getting pushed off. The other one was I was running into a boss room in Dark Souls 1, and I forgot to put on a specific item. I jumped down so confident. I was like, I'm going in. We're gonna do it. I didn't do it.
Oh no!
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yep. I hope Candy gets to experience that moment.
Who says I haven't already experienced that moment?
It's a good point. Where are you in Dark Souls 1 right now?
I just recently beat ONS, and I am now exploring the catacombs.
Gotcha.
Let's go.
Ugh,
You gave me no context clues. I want to know if there's items I should be putting on before I go into a fight. Spoilers.
You'll know. You'll know.
Okay.
I feel like you'll know this one. I'm not gonna tell you the item, but
cool.
You'll know.
Okay. I love it. Alrighty, beautiful. I love that we're getting off like lots of good laughs. We are gonna go into more serious questions. I promise there will be more funny ones. But our next question is gameplay based. So what is your go-to build and why? And to start us off with this one, we are going to start off with Little One You Are.
All right. So my starting build, if the game lets me do magic, I am a big magic build person. And if I don't have that option, then I love being a girl with a scythe. That's my favorite weapon. So I think that's usually dex scaling, and that's usually my favorite way to go.
I love it. I love all the different like move sets that like each different weapon has like a different move set so far that I've experienced in Dark Souls. I think that's so cute. Not that, you know, Dark Souls is a very cute game in general, but I'm just like the small things that I can find that I'm like, oh, that's girly. Love it, yes. So my go-to build, I have only experienced one. I am very much a what is a shield type person, and I have a big sword, so what do you mean I have to dodge? So that is my go-to build, is big sword. Basically just strength and 0 intelligence, running in and doing the things. It's a lot of Leroy Jenkinsing in my playthrough so far. So.
But that's like the bonk.
Yeah.
The bonk builds.
The bonk, yep. That's what I want.
I like it.
Yes. So, Sarah Barra, what is your go-to build?
Gosh. If there's a lot of spells that are fun to use, like I'd say like Dark Souls 1 isn't like, it doesn't have like a crazy amount of different types of spells, but like Elden Ring has like a bunch of different types of spells. So like if I have the option with a bunch of fun different spells to use, then I'll probably go a magic build every time. But I always have either a short sword or a scythe on the back end, because I know I played through Dark Souls 3 with the scythe specifically, and it was very fun. But Dark Souls 1, I always end up going, there's a boss that's like has a boss weapon, and I always end up going with that weapon, even though it's actually terrible for one of the areas. because things are very resistant to it, I usually just fight through it anyways.
Boosting that resilience, we love it. Yes.
Yeah. As I look off into the distance, an existential crisis, like, why do I do this? Why do I do this to myself every time? I don't know.
I love it. Alrighty, to wrap up this question, Joe and Tay, what's your guys' go-to build?
I think we have like a joint go-to build, and then we have kind of like differing builds when we're playing a game on our own. But I think our joint build, we generally go for like a quality build, or a dex build. You can't really go wrong with those. We don't really do strength builds much. Not big into just like big bonk or like tanking hits or anything like that. Never magic. Never ever magic. Just
not hating on it. It's just not our style.
It's too much to try and keep up with. I just want to hit things. Like I don't want to do magic.
That's a good point.
That is so valid.
Yeah. The mana, yeah.
But I think one place where we'll differ with things we like to do in runs is I like to play with katanas and swords and things like that. And Taylor has one thing that she likes to do, and it really bugs me when she wants to pick this weapon, and she knows what it is too.
Oh.
She knows what it is too. You want to tell them what you like to do when we're playing a Souls game anytime it's available?
So I got spoiled with Elden Ring because there is one particular boss that this is really the weapon you want to use. But anytime there's a whip in the game, I'm like, oh, I should totally use this whip and run around and act like Indiana Jones. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Do you feel like you have a particular sword that you kind of always pick in a Souls game?
Yeah, katanas.
Katanas?
Yeah.
I don't feel like
love
it's really
katanas,
one
yeah.
that I gravitate to, except when I played Dark Souls 3 for the first time, I did dual wielding. Was it the twin cell swords? What was it called?
The sellsword twin blade.
Yes. I had an enjoyable time doing that, but I'm strictly no shield, so that worked perfect for me because I didn't have a shield anywhere, because I will not use a shield if I have it, so I just don't even try anymore.
Yeah. My shield is on my back for stamina regeneration, and that's about it.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. All right. Oh, beautiful. We're moseying. Being a smaller group, I do really enjoy it. We're going to get through like a lot of questions, I feel. So, awesome. Okay. Ooh, our next... I'm getting excited about my own questions. I'm sorry. So I'm not going to go...
You're allowed to be excited about your own questions?
Yeah.
Thank you for validating that. Yes. Okay. I'm not going to go first. So it is going to get bumped down to Sarah Vera. Do you think Souls games are fair?
I think it depends on which one you ask me about and what areas specifically sometimes. Like, I'll say there's a DLC area in Dark Souls 2 that's absolutely not fair. I went there, attempted it, and I was like, I'm never doing this again. It was awful. But I did experience it. And I think personally to me, I think that's the glory of it, is because life isn't always fair. And I think when games are balanced and fair, that's great for like a good PvP game. But when you're playing one like by yourself, and if you're playing online, then sure, PvP in Dark Souls, I think it's just the experience of realizing that not everything is fair, not everything is in your favor, and there's not always an easy mode to turn it down to. So no, they're not fair. That's my answer. They're not fair, but I think experiencing that in a video game makes experiencing unfairness in real life hit a little bit easier. I don't know if that's technically right, but that's how I think about it.
I love it. Yes. So then, Joe and Tay, how do you feel? Like, do you think Souls games are fair?
I'll let you answer first.
So I think they are and they aren't at the same time. Again, kind of like to Sarah Barra said, there are certain games, if you ask me my opinion on them, I'll be like, yep, that game is not fair at all. I think the big thing with Souls games, though, like I know they are meant to be challenging and everybody plays different. There are definitely things you can do to make things as easy as you want or as difficult as you want, but it definitely teaches you a lot of persistence, and sometimes it's not going to be easy, sometimes it's not going to be fair, and it's okay to say, I don't want to do this today, and just come back to it another day or not at all.
I mean, I think they can't. I think they're fair for the most part. I think sometimes they can be trolly, though, in an unfair manner. One of the games in particular has some very unfair mechanics and things that it does differently than the other Souls games that I don't find particularly fair or particularly fun. But like Taylor said, like they do teach you persistence and resilience, and but I think especially when you're like dying to a boss or something, I don't think most of the deaths to bosses are unfair. I think every death is just teaching you a different way, a different thing not to do in that boss battle. And then the victory is so sweet, even if the boss battle was like a little unfair or something like that, that it kind of outweighs it anyway. So yeah, that's what I think about them.
Awesome. And then Little One You Are, do you think Souls games are fair?
I do feel like they're fair for the most part, but there's definitely, I feel like there's been some areas of games that have been more frustrating than others, to the point where I kind of started to call them unfair places. But I've also, from my just experience across different Souls games over the years, I've realized that a lot of that unfairness ends up being frustration with myself, because I will be so set on how I want to do something. And like Tay was saying, like these games will usually give you a whole bunch of different tools and things that you can use to like try out something else, to help like make the game a little bit easier, or to just help you like get through whatever part you're trying to get through. But yeah, I feel like there's definitely been, I think in Elden Ring's DLC specifically, there were at least a couple of times when I put down my controller and I was like, what in tarnation? This is not fair. And then put it down and then just have not picked it back up since. But yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious. I love it. Yes. Okay, so to answer my own question, do I think Souls games are fair? I do think that they are, because like if you're throwing yourself against a wall, like a boss, and you just can't get it, there's always the opportunity to like go run around and get more stuff, so then you can level up and like you keep trying again, and you have the ability to progress yourself as you continue to throw yourself at this wall until, you know, sometimes you have to take off your clothes and that'll help you roll faster, and you know, there's different tactics that we can do, and it's gonna be different for every boss. I mean, you can't beat all of them just by taking off your clothes. So I have tried. I do a lot of like, I'm gonna stab him in the butt, because that just seems to be what works for me. I get like underneath him and I'm like, haha, and that's what works. So yeah, I do think that they're fair, and it's just about like being adaptable and knowing that we can progress and move in a forward motion regardless of how difficult something might seem. So
I agree. There was one thing I forgot.
yeah.
I think Little One You Are, Zoe mentioned something and it brought it up to me, like the mechanics that Joe and Tay were talking about, like using all of them. I saw a really funny YouTube video, and it was like the person was having, it was like one of those animated cartoon videos of like a person playing through Elden Ring, and like the reason that the little animated person was able to beat it was because they used all of the mechanics. And like there was this point where they go to in a flashback with Miyazaki, and Miyazaki's like, thank you for using every mechanic in the game. And it was because they had put down their little like message right before the boss door, and people were liking it, and so they were getting extra like flasks to use while they were in the boss room, and that it like was the reason. And I was like, oh, I've never thought about it that way, but even the small like social things that you can do can also help you in that way too.
I love that.
I love that.
That's so
I don't think I've ever used that mechanic. Not like the social mechanic of those games. I don't think I've ever experienced that once.
I don't use them often, but I saw that and I was like, oh, I bet that would be helpful to like get a last minute like HP flask if you needed it.
Yeah,
for sure.
Because it's always like that last time, and when you're trying to drink an Estus and it's like not there, and I'm like, well, I have that much health. We trying.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Continuing on, I believe Sarah, you answered first that last time.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So going first this time is Joe and Tay, and the question is, but it's debate based, so there's going to be differing answers, of course. I mean, for all of the answers, honestly. But do you think the games would still be as popular as they are if they weren't so hard?
I think probably not. But not because I don't think they would be good games if they were hard, or not because I don't think people would think they weren't good games if they weren't hard, but I think that the difficulty draws people in to those games. Because I remember I used to work at Target, and there was a guy that I worked with, and he was like, oh man, you need to try Dark Souls. And I'd heard about how hard it was, and I was like, I don't want to try that game. That's not interesting at all. And then, finally played Bloodborne and fell in love with it, and found out about like the community on Twitch, with all the souls and everything. But I think the community on Twitch is so big because, and people love them so much because there is that endorphin rush that you get when you beat a boss or something like that. I think that's what keeps bringing people back. It's not the difficulty, it's triumphing over that difficult task. So then people are like, oh, you have to play it. Yeah, it's really hard, but it feels so great when you beat a boss. And really, there is no, there is no other feeling in games like that. Like when you beat a really difficult challenge or something like that. And I think that's what keeps people coming back. So maybe they wouldn't be as popular if they weren't hard, just because I think that difficulty is what keeps people liking them and gets people talking about them to begin with.
So I think for me, obviously, the difficulty is a big part of it. I feel like that's why a lot of people are drawn to those games. I still feel like if you took the difficulty out, they would still be popular just because, especially with FromSoft, they do what they do so well. Like the boss designs are so memorable. They're so good. Just like watching the boss moves. The locations are so iconic. There's so much discovery. There's so much lore, which I know a lot of times you really have to dig deep to get some of that lore, whether it's reading items, maybe looking up some Reddit threads to see some things you missed. So I think those are all still huge draws, even if you take away that difficulty, that those are things that people still would love and appreciate and, keep that series popular.
Yeah, absolutely. Continuing on, little one, you are, same question. If you need me to repeat it, I'm sorry.
No, you're good. One of my headphones died, but I think I should be okay. So, I don't know. This is kind of a hard question. Because I think there definitely is a huge draw that has to do with the challenge and difficulty of it. Because I know personally for myself, I feel a huge sense of accomplishment when I'm able to figure out like how a boss fight works, or if I'm actually able to like complete a game. But I also, I don't know, like I feel like there is still a lot to these games even without the difficulty, kind of like how Tay was saying. I'll just kind of wanted to bring up like Liza P as a Souls-like as an example. They recently came out with an update that has multiple difficulty settings, so that there's still a level of difficulty to the game, but you can adjust how intense it is, which I know personally has helped like friends of mine and other people like kind of feel more confident with being able to like dip their toes into these kind of games, because the challenge can be very intimidating, which is super duper valid. But like I do feel like it has a big pull, but there's like still so much more to these games. Like as a big lore buff, I love the lore in these games so much. I love reading the item item descriptions when I remember to, and other things like that. And like the characters, and like there's quest lines with these NPCs that you grow to love, and yeah. But I do feel like it's at least like it's a big pull for sure.
Yeah. To answer the question for myself, do I think the games would be as popular if they weren't so hard? I'm gonna have a straight up answer, and it's gonna be no. You know, it's not gonna be as eloquently put as the rest of you guys. But I feel like my biggest like comparison, if it wasn't as hard, would probably be like Dragon Age Origins, and maybe like a dabble of Inquisition. And those games, I feel like, compared to Dark Souls, and this is me saying this as Dragon Age is my favorite game franchise of all time, Dragon Age holds your hand through things, and Dark Souls doesn't hold your hand. They take your hand and then they like make you smack yourself with it. If you have older siblings, you know what I'm talking about. Or maybe younger siblings. Maybe you were the one who was not bullied. I was the baby, and I got hit with my own hand way too often. So I feel like Dark Souls is like this, you know, in a sense, an older sibling who's like, hey, you need to learn how to actually do things. And it's crazy how like Dark Souls has helped me become a better like gamer in general. Like I now don't have to look at a controller when I'm holding one, because I'm mainly like mouse and keyboard, and I tried to do that at first with Dark Souls, and I was like, no, controller it is. And so now I don't have to look, and it's great. But yeah, I like that there's so much like different ways to even make it harder for some people. People do speed runs, people do hit lists, they do death lists. I've seen, like, YouTube knows that I post Dark Souls, and so it keeps trying to feed me Dark Souls, and I've seen, like, thumbnails of people doing, like, bows only, and all of the different ways to, like, continue to push yourself, and to continue to be, like, try new ways of finding, like, a already difficult game and making it harder, and I love that people love that. And so I do think that, like, without all of those aspects and that availability of making it harder and pushing yourself, I don't think that they would be as popular. So that's my general answer. And I believe we started with Joe and Tay with this one. So Sarah, wrapping up this question.
Yeah. I think that the Souls games got big originally because they were hard. At least within like the communities that enjoyed pushing themselves, and like the speed running communities, and I think that helped really help like make it flourish, honestly, because I know I probably wouldn't have heard about it if I hadn't heard it from my friend who enjoyed it because it was hard. But also I think, as much as I love the lore, I'm a huge lore buff and a huge lore nerd, I don't know if a lot of people would have been able to appreciate it as much if there was that feeling of intense achievement that you get from completing the game. So as much as I want to say they still would be big, I do think that they would be big, because I think that the boss designs are beautiful. The lore is beautifully done. I think that there is something to be said about FromSoft's way of just like throwing some lore at you, but never actually confirming half of the stuff that's in the game still, that people have Reddit threads like years old that people are still talking about these like theories, and I think that's wonderful. But I don't know if it would have ever gotten to that point if it wouldn't have been hard in the beginning, because so many people, when they play it and they feel that sense of achievement, that's what they remember. And I think that's what people were like, oh yeah, you're going to be a good gamer if you play this game. So as much as I want to say yes, they would have been huge, but I probably would have never played it if it hadn't have been hard.
Yeah, seems like we're all on the same page, but for like varying reasons, and lots of like, as you guys are all seasons players, like giving all this extra context is beautiful. I appreciate all of your guys' knowledge, and all still staying like very spoiler free. You guys are pros. So moving on to our next question.
We're well trained to not spoil things.
Yes.
That is so true.
And also, I wanted to add, apart from are they not as popular because would they not be as popular for where it is difficult? I don't think they would be as popular if Twitch didn't exist.
True.
Oh, so true. That is a really good point.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think they would be anywhere near as popular if people did not get to watch people stream these games and succeed and then get inspired to go do that themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. I don't
That's a
think
good
I would have
point.
ever played them if it wasn't for Twitch. Like, getting to have a community, like, I'm not doing any of the gaming off stream. It's all on stream, and I feel like the chat really is like that motivation behind a lot of the times where I'm like, I could throw my controller, and that's where I would have stepped away from the game if I wasn't streaming it. And now, like, I can't throw my controller with people watching me. That's inappropriate. So I do this, like, I set it down and I'm like, okay, yes. And then, you know, when you win, it's that, like, huge victory for everyone. And I love that aspect of it. So I'm really glad that you brought up, like, the Twitch being a part of why it is so popular.
Yeah, streaming changes things.
It does.
It does.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Our next question, starting off with Little When You Are. Have you ever had a moment while playing that you, like, while you were streaming, that you instantly knew, like, oh, that's good content?
Oh geez. Okay. So, during my first playthrough of Dark Souls 1, there was an area that I was in, and I think actually I still have this channel point redeemed to this day. It's a blindfold redeem, so I have a sleep mask that I use at night, and then someone can redeem that for 3 minutes, I believe, for me to put that on and then just play and set a timer and then just play for 3 minutes with not being able to see anything. And so somehow I still don't understand to this day how I was able to do this. But I was able to take out 4 enemies and I lived. And when I took off the blindfold, I was like, I'm not dead. This only happened once. Every other time that this channel point has been redeemed, I have died. But that was like just a wild moment that I surprised myself, and I was just like, people aren't going to believe that I actually did this, but like I have it recorded on twitch.tv so they can't tell me that it didn't happen. And it made me feel really cool, and I still can't believe that it happened.
I love it. You know, to answer my own question, I feel like there's been 2 moments that like stick out in my brain the most. One of them, I recently beat ONS, and like just like the victory screech that came out of me, like that alone, I was like, I don't care if anybody else doesn't like this as content, I like this as content, because this is what I was told is like the skill check of Dark Souls 1. Like, if you can't beat them, you're not going to beat the rest of the game, is what I was basically told. And so having that in mind, it was like a really good moment for me, and it was like half victory screech and half like death metal scream, and it felt really great. And the other part is actually a really dumb death, which now I remember. Another dumb death from the beginning. There was one time I was still learning and I thought I was safe. It was not. I was in Blighttown and there are mosquitoes. And I was like, cool, there's nothing around me. Somebody redeemed a channel point for me to go and get my cat. And I was like, cool, let me go grab him. And I was like, I'm safe here, nothing. I walk away and like, I come back with my cat and I'm at a bonfire and I'm just like, oh no. And then chat was like, there were mosquitoes and they poisoned you and then they stabbed you. And I was like, you guys didn't save me. So those are my top like content like moments that I've had in my playthrough so far. So Sarah, any moments that you were like, yes, this is top tier content?
I'd have to say Lies of P and Crowd Control Elden Ring. Those were my top two favorite like content moments. Mainly Lies of P because that was the first game I really had to learn to parry. Like you can do it without parrying, but it's just a lot better and more efficient and effective if you can learn to parry. And so I had to finally learn to parry. I played all through Dark Souls 1 through 3, never parried a moment in my life. I just refused. I was like, this is impossible. And then I got to Lies of P and I was like, oh. And then that's when I learned that to play Sekiro, you're probably gonna have to learn to parry. And I was like, oh, okay. So I was fighting a boss. It's like a late game boss in Lies of P. And there are 2 phases. And getting to phase, I thought I beat the boss, and then I realized there was a phase 2, and I had no health. So I think I spent 2 days fighting that singular boss, and I did end up I beat that boss on stream. I should have died. But the cutscene happened right as I got hit. So I think the cutscene saved me. And I still consider that a win to this day. And I actually cried. I cried about it, living at 1 HP in a dream.
Let's go.
Yeah. But crowd control is just so fun because letting viewers redeem the most ridiculous stuff, like one of the biggest bosses in Elden Ring on top of your head on an elevator where you can't move and the boss takes up the entire elevator. Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
That sounds terrifying.
It is. It's instant death, but it's still fun. It's still fun to let people troll you in that way. As long as you know you're going into it with the mindset that you're probably not going to succeed at anything during that playthrough.
Oh my goodness. Crowd control is terrifying to me, but I love that people love it. Alrighty, so Joe and Tay, any moments that you were like, yes, this is content, this is gold?
You can go first. I have a treasure trove.
Oh, do you?
So I'll see if you say any of the ones that I was gonna say, and then I'll fill in the gaps.
Okay. One of the, I guess, first ones that comes to mind, we did a charity stream back in, I think it was like January 2022. And we weren't doing crowd control. We kind of made our own little wheel that people got to spin if they gave donations, and we would do whatever action we landed on and basically like handicap ourselves in the game. So we did Elden Ring with that, and I beat the first boss, the tutorial boss, blindfolded. And then we did shared controller on the first main game boss, and we beat it. And I was so shocked because especially if you do crowd control, you do anything where you're allowing viewers to kind of hamper your skills in the game. Obviously, you're not going to be able to really level up. You're not going to be able to level up your weapons. So we did that at a really low level, and I still don't know how we managed it. Another one that comes to mind is Bloodborne. I did my first playthrough on stream. I played it and decided to come back to the DLC I think maybe like a year later, and I got to the last two bosses. And for anybody who's played the Bloodborne DLC, you know it is very challenging, especially getting towards the end of that DLC. So I got to the last two bosses, and I just kept going between them. And I'm like, okay, this sucks. I'm just going to take a little break, come back to this eventually. I did come back to it eventually, and I practiced off stream on one of those bosses, and I finally got it on stream, and I was so freaking excited. Like, I wanted to cry. I was so happy.
Let's go.
Yeah.
What are yours?
Anytime we do shared controller and we have a victory with that, is really awesome. Particularly the first time we did it when we were playing Jedi Fallen Order. Also, anytime I succeed with a blindfold challenge, there was a boss that I was fighting in Lies of P for probably about 30 times, and I couldn't beat it. And then somehow I put a blindfold on. And when we have a blindfold redeem as well. And when we do blindfold redeems, like one of us is directing the other one. So it's not just like running around aimlessly. One's like, go left, go right, dodge, roll, do whatever, hit, whatever. And so we were able to successfully, I beat the boss blindfolded after I couldn't beat it not blindfolded about 30 times with Taylor directing me. So that was really awesome. You said a lot of the ones that I was going to say. Watching you beat a boss from Dark Souls 3.
Yeah, I was gonna say
that you were having a lot of difficulty with was awesome. I'm trying to think if there's any like one in particular for me that I've done. There's a profanity laden one from Elden Ring, victory in Elden Ring after doing a boss 114 times, winning. That was very profanity laden. But that one I think is good content. And then my other crowning achievement that I thought was great for content was that we were doing a 24-hour all main game bosses run in Bloodborne. It was the first time we really ever did a challenge run. And I ran through a particular area completely deathless, got to the boss, and then beat the boss on the first try deathless. So that was pretty cool. That was a crowning achievement because the first time I had fought that boss in Bloodborne, I was stuck on it. It probably took like 50, 60 attempts. So to be able to do that deathless was pretty cool. Yeah, that's mine.
Yeah, wow.
It's so hard to not say the names of things. I want to be like, I was fighting so-and-so, because then people will be like, yeah, I know what the boss you're talking about. That one was super difficult.
Like I said, I have the brain of a goldfish. Like, if you say names,
I'll just say it was the one. I'll just say it was the one in a castle.
Yeah, the carriage ride.
Yeah, where you take a carriage ride.
Oh,
yeah,
yes,
yes.
Oh, yes. Ha. I like how everyone else is like, oh, it instantly clicks, and I'm just like,
that one was pain.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, especially the first time.
Oh,
you do it.
yeah.
And then we're doing a BL4 run right now, and I have now beaten him on BL4 as well, and that took a ton of tries, and so I've had my fill of that boss for sure.
so
in all
I'm
my
basically
playthroughs.
like a 5-year-old. What is BL4?
Is a blood level 4 run, so it means that you start the game with whatever your base stats are, and the only thing you're allowed to upgrade is your weapon, and like buffs to your weapon. You can't upgrade your character at all. You can't upgrade health. You can't upgrade your stamina, your strength, anything like that. You have to go through it at base level.
Wow. Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's hard.
That's so
it's hard.
cool.
That's why we've been doing it. That's why we've been doing it off and on now.
Yeah,
for
sporadically.
for like a year and a half.
That's
just
so
to,
fun.
or more than that actually, because just to give you an idea, the reason we're doing a BL4 run is because it was unlocked in that charity stream that we did
From 2022.
from 2022, and we're still doing the
Yeah.
BL4 run right now.
That sounds tough.
So
but
yeah, it's
great.
it's something. If you're gonna do a challenge run, I do not suggest that you do a BO4 first. Do like Dark Souls,
Yeah,
SO1.
dip your
something.
toes
Not that.
into challenge runs first, and give yourself some grace.
They're
I
not.
feel
They're
like
not
that's,
easy.
that's good advice. We have been going for just about an hour. I don't know if you heard during the last question, my dog was aggressively like, "Hey mom, I would like to go outside." So I need to let him outside before he pees on my trash can. So we're gonna take just a little 5-minute stretchy break. If you need water, bathroom, now is a great time. We got through an entire round of questions, so I'm thinking by the time we get through another round of questions, that will basically wrap us up. So we're gonna take a little 5-minute intermission. We'll come back in 5 minutes.
Awesome.
Sounds good.
Sounds great.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Alrighty, getting back into questions though. Our next round of questions, starting off with another funny one. No, it's not for you. I don't remember who went first. That's where I'm at in my brain right now. Sarah, did you go first on that last one?
I don't remember.
Well, you're going first this time. So
Okay.
that's where we're starting because I can't remember. So if you were asked to design a new emote for the series, what would it be?
Oh. I feel like a praise the sun emote, official Twitch emote, would be good. But I don't know. That's the thing about the Souls games. Their faces aren't very expressive. So I really don't know. That's a really great question.
Are we asking about an emote for Twitch, or are we asking about an emote that you can do in game?
Yeah.
Yeah, in game.
Oh, I was thinking an
Like
emote
when
on
you-
Your
Twitch.
answer
can, like,
also great.
When you can like do things like that, yeah.
Okay, well this changes everything.
Okay.
I think a thumbs up. There's a lot of pointing, a lot of praising the sun in game, but I think a thumbs up emote is what we need. Because why not?
Yeah.
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up, absolutely.
Is that not one already?
I feel like it should be.
If there is one, I haven't seen it.
I don't really ever use them, so I don't.
Two
I don't-
thumbs
I don't-
up.
I don't know.
Well,
Where's
there's
the
one
thumbs up from
thumbs up.
Stopped?
Where's the thumbs up?
It's needed. So Joe and Tay, thank you for clarifying the question for us. Also, what is your answer? If you could add an emote to the series, what would it be?
I've got one if you want to think a little bit.
Yeah, go ahead.
And this may be one that already exists. I know with a lot of the emotes in the Souls games, you have to find them. You don't automatically start with all of them. But I would like one of Onion Knight doing the so I could back at him. Because I feel like I always find him and he's always deep in thought and doing his little And I'd love to just give him that energy back.
Some hemming and hawing with Onion Bro.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I know what I would do. Flipping the bird, man. A middle finger. So just a middle finger, a double middle finger that I can just use, when I beat a boss or when a boss has made me mad, or an enemy's made me mad. Yeah, I would use that constantly. Just like, yeah. That's what I would do.
Stole my answer, but it's okay. So, little one you are, if you could add an emote, what would you do?
So I'm kind of torn between two ideas. One kind of builds off an existing one. I love the idea of praising the sun, but also starting to float low, like slowly off the ground as if you're ascending. I don't know why. I feel like that'd be cool because that's how I feel sometimes when I beat bosses. And so I think that'd be fun. But if it was going to be one that was completely new, sticking my tongue out at enemies and like literally doing the hand motion, going bleh. I feel like that would be very satisfying and also might give a giggle in times of frustration.
That is so true.
Absolutely, a little good laugh. I love it.
Teabag was my second choice, Goose.
Oh no.
And just imagine, like, you know, I don't know if y'all's controllers ever do this, but you accidentally move it and you start emoting in the middle of like fighting a boss or something. I just imagine myself accidentally, like, in the middle of a boss fight, flipping one of them off, start teabagging nothing, or like ascending into the air and to praise the sun. So that's what I'm thinking of in my head.
Well, Sarah, remember when we did the Souls thing? We had the thing on the challenge wheel where we had to do an emote
Before we did the last hit on the boss.
Before we did the last hit on the boss.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I did actually do that.
Yeah, we did.
That was on purpose.
Yeah.
So if I had to add an emote, my answer was already taken. I was gonna say like a good like middle finger. But if I had to pick one besides that, I would say like very much spawned off of the idea from a Fortnite emote where like the character like throws the controller down then steps on it. I would like that with like your weapon. You throw it down, then you get to step on it. Cause like sometimes you're just like, this sword made me die. Like, how rude. So sword's fault, clearly. So.
I love that.
Yeah. Continuing on. This one is very gameplay based. So for Joe and Tay starting us off with this one, do you guys summon help or do you go full solo?
It depends.
Yeah, I mean, we try to do as much as we can, not summoning. We do most things not summoning. Every once in a while, we'll summon something in. There are particular, without spoiling anything, there are particular bosses where, specifically in Elden Ring, where summoning in is the canon thing to do. And so we will summon in for those fights, because it's part of the overall story. It's not just an assistant coming in. And then on subsequent playthroughs, depending on what we're doing, sometimes we'll just, go balls to the wall and just summon all we want because we've already proven that we could do it without summoning for ourselves or whatever. So yeah, it really just depends. Yeah. But for the most part, I think on first playthroughs, we try to do things without summons.
Yeah. For me personally, it helps me. Like, I feel like I have a better understanding of the boss if I do it without the summon. Like, I want it to be, all my accomplishment, and, get that learning, like, know exactly what I'm doing instead of like, hey, summon, come on, let's just face tank this enemy.
And we particularly never use real summons. The only time we use summons, we do NPCs, because a lot of the times when you do an actual person, like summon an actual other player, they're like super OP and they'll come in and they'll just like one or two shot the boss, and then you don't really get that feeling of accomplishment.
But you don't, if they're that overpowered, you don't really get to participate as much because they just come in and wreck shop.
Like the first time I beat ONS, I summoned in this person, and their name, and I'll never forget it because their name was Booty. And they were super OP, like magic build, and I summoned them in, and they did most of the work, and it was great because I was really annoyed with ONS, but I've never really done that again because I just don't like someone coming in and just doing the whole thing. Yep, summon Booty. Mm-hmm.
There's nothing wrong with summoning Booty every once in a while.
I guess you could say it was a booty call.
No, I hate how easily that was set up. That's great. That's so great.
That's perfect.
Okay. So little one, are you a full solo? Do you summon help? How do you go about it?
It kind of really depends. I'm kind of more so I try to figure out the bosses myself without summons, but if there's something kind of like story intricate, especially if there's like NPCs that might be tied to story like quests and things like that, then I really like doing that to be able to explore more of that. But for the most part, I like learning boss fights, and it's nice to be able to have some of the aggro taken off of you from a boss, but it can also, in its own way, add another level of difficulty, because sometimes you might not be able to tell where exactly the boss is going to attack. They might seem like they're going to attack your summon, but in reality, they might just turn around and hit you instead. And so, like, and so usually I don't, but if there's a boss fight that has multiple people in that boss fight, I'm more so geared towards using a summon, because I just don't do well in those kind of fights. And it's nice to like try them, but for the most part, it's still like I prefer summons in those kind of things. But for the most part, I like being able to learn something like myself and how to do it, especially because like I've been learning how to speedrun Bloodborne, and so doing summons and things like that really would like slow things down. So if it's like casual playthroughs, and if it's not a first playthrough, usually I'll use a summon just to kind of see what it's like. But otherwise, I'm usually I will take down this boss and I will hit my head against this wall and I will do it. I do see that summon sign, but I'm just gonna go right past it and let them just continue taking their nap.
Love it. So for me, I feel like the very first time that I encountered a summon sign was against the Bell Gargoyles, and I felt the need to like stop and like talk to chat, and I was like, hey, I'm gonna use this thing because it's built into the game, so don't come at me for this. And now whenever I can, I'm just like, oh yeah, absolutely. Especially if it's Solaire, I'm like, who wouldn't want Solaire to join them in a boss fight? Like, absolutely, come with me. Hold my hand. Like, let's be friends. But there are times that like, there are bosses that don't have summon signs, and I feel like those ones, they feel great when you win. But also, like, that's when I have gone against like a couple of bosses who like I didn't do any summons with, and that's also when I had like a really frustrating time, and I try to take off my clothes so I can roll faster and things like that. And then also I learned that like, so what I'm doing on my channel is I'm clipping every death, so that way when I'm done and I've beaten Dark Souls, I can put an entire montage together of all of my deaths. And so I'm learning as I'm clipping, like if there's multiple streams of like the same boss, then like I'm clipping those deaths and I'm like, okay, I could have done this here. Oh, I could have done this here. And so sometimes it's great to like not go in and just like, you know, absolutely bonk on them with a summon, because then I can actually like learn and I feel like I'm progressing and getting better. But also, if I can, like I said, if I can have Solaire hold my hand through a boss fight, 110%. That's what's gonna happen. So I do like a summon, but also I like the feeling of doing it myself. So I would go both, but it's never like online. I had a really bad experience. Like I had just gotten past like this guy who like I thought was like big and beefy, and I was like, yes. And then like I got invaded for the very first time at that exact same time, and this person just ran up and stabbed me, and I was like, cool, we're turning that mode off. There's no more online. That does not exist. So no. So that's yeah. So Sarah,
I'm a summoner. Just stick me in Final Fantasy and call me a summoner. I love my summons. I think what I love most about the games is the funny social interactions you may have with people when you summon them. Shout out to Cheez It and Jesus, who help me beat the final DLC boss of Elden Ring. Because like there's sometimes like that I am fighting a boss and like I'll go in at least the first time by myself. But after that, if I can usually gauge if my character is going to, if I'm not going to be able to do something. Yeah. So I summoned every chance I got in Elden Ring's DLC. I think for one boss, it was out in like the open world. I ended up summoning like 10 different people. Because like when one person would die, you could just like go run back around and then summon another and run back around, summon another. I did do that and eventually it did work out. But yeah, being a mage in Elden Ring makes it hard sometimes, especially in the DLC area. But otherwise, like there's after you fight a boss, it's just I feel like I get that 1 second to do a fun emote with that person. I'll never see them again. I'll never know who they are, but I'm like, this was a great time having a good little social moment with you. I don't know who you are or where you're at, but this was fun. I hope you have a good day.
You were tiptoeing around that boss's name. I know you know that boss's name, Sarah.
Well, it was Cheez-It and Jesus got me through the last boss, and that's all I'll say.
No. The one where you keep summoning people.
Oh, I don't know. Well, maybe it only was one boss that you could do that with out in the world.
Yeah. There's only one. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't remember the name actually of it. I just know what it is, and I'm like, yep, this one's not happening.
They go, no.
Yeah.
An argument to be made against summoning, like not saying summoning is bad one way or the other. They put it in the game, use it, whatever, whatever helps your enjoyment of it. But another argument to be made against summoning, and I think that people don't actually think about, is that when you summon, the boss health pool goes up.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
it does.
Yeah.
I forget about that all the time.
You're not really, like, it does help you to an extent, but the boss's health pool is also going up while that other person's coming in. So there's a trade-off there. Yeah. You're not just getting a person that comes in and then, especially if you're summoning somebody from online, you're not just getting someone that comes in and the boss stays at the same amount of health. So yeah,
that is true.
Yeah. Alrighty. For our next question, it says, I'm I'm reading it. Our question is, do you think failure feels less or more punishing in Dark Souls? Oh, I forgot to say who's going first. Professional. This one is going first to, I believe it would be, we just came back from break. I lost my place again. Oh, little one you are. Yes. So, let me rephrase the question again, or repeat it since I just had a whole brain moment. Do you think failure feels more or less punishing in Dark Souls?
That's a good question. I think for me, at first, compared to other games, it felt more frustrating. But once I learned that kind of was essentially a part of the game in a way, I kind of started seeing those more as learning opportunities rather than failures. Yeah, it's frustrating. If you feel like you're doing really well on an attempt and then you end up dying and then you're just if I had only done this thing better. But I've been able to try to frame my mindset of okay, this is something I could try for next time, and this is something I didn't do that I did last time that maybe I can incorporate here. So if anything, I feel like these kinds of games that help me see failure in a more positive light. It still sucks to feel like you're failing, but failing is always learning opportunities, and you can fail over and over again, but once you get that victory, those failures, I feel like it can be, still frustrating to get to that journey, but kind of validating in a way. And it's I went through all this and I dealt with all this, but I still got to the other side of it. And So, yeah, if that makes any sense.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I feel very much the same. Going off of that to answer the question, like I said, I'm clipping all of my deaths, and so there's been a lot that I've been able to learn from my failures. Like there was a boss in Dark Souls, and the boss arena is basically like a hallway with a single set of stairs, and it is the boss and his two little friends, and I was like, okay, this is fun. And during one of the times when I was like clipping a death, I was like, he's walking on something else, and then I was like, I'm gonna go walk on that thing next time I face him, and like I went and walked on the thing, and it happened to be this place where he couldn't touch me, and I was like, haha, now I'm gonna do a bunch of like the drop attacks on you, and that is what got me that like beating that boss and like finding those small things. And so like learning from failure, I feel like does make it feel less punishing, less frustrating. So that's what I got. Sarah, how do you
That
feel?
boss is nonsense.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Possible.
That boss is absolute nonsense.
Up until that point, like that was like the hardest one for me, because I was like, I think it took like 7 attempts to beat him, and now looking back, I'm like, oh yeah, Candy from 10 weeks ago, she was having a difficult time, and now we're having a different kind of difficult time. So.
Well, it's also the enemies in that run back as well that make it even more
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
The amount of like
Sometimes it's the runs.
frustrating.
and they
Good
just,
old
like,
run backs.
Yeah. So Sarah, how do you feel about failure and the game?
You know, I think the moments where it's the hardest to like swallow is when the boss lives with 1 HP in a dream, and I don't know, something about that just sits with me so hard. And I remember there was a boss specifically in Elden Ring Night Rain. It was one of the enhanced versions, and it's the one that you have to use an empowered sword to go whoosh. And I had to do one more hit, and my teammate was down. And I think that's what made it worse, is because I was playing with someone else, and I wasn't able to do it. And then we died and lost that whole run because of it. And I think it's those moments where I'm like, if I'm doing co-op, if I've been the one that's summoned and I can't pull out the win, it hits a lot harder. But if I'm just like playing solo, if I only have like NPC summons, and it's not usually that big of a deal, because I feel like the game has taught me that like failure's okay, and that's fine. But I think in the social setting, when there is another person that summoned you that's hoping to rely on you potentially, it hurts a little bit more.
Yeah, I can imagine, like, to almost have, like, a guilt associated with it, in a sense.
Yeah, almost a little bit of a guilt. I mean, Night Rain is a little bit different because, like, you go in, you're not being summoned.
Mhm.
So, there's that. But, like, when you are the one being summoned, it feels like I'm wasting their, like, in-game resources.
Oh.
Because, like, you have to turn human. Like, you have to use a humanity to become human to summon people. So, like, if I die and then they die, then they've just wasted some humanity.
Yeah.
But maybe it's also a learning experience. I don't know.
Could be both, or none. Who knows?
Exactly.
Alrighty, so Joe and Tay, how do you feel about failure? Is it more or less punishing?
You go first.
So I think for me, when I first started playing, it was more punishing because I was getting used to the whole Souls genre and everything. After I got more into it, it kind of became an expectation. And I'm not saying that I was like, oh, I'm gonna fail every time, but I was like, okay, it's okay to fail because I'm gonna, have another opportunity and I'm gonna change it, do something different, and hopefully, come out on top. I think one of the most frustrating things with failure, though, in the Souls games is if you really get off to a good start. Maybe you've gone like 2 bosses, first try, handful of tries, and then you hit that brick wall. And then you keep failing and you're like, but I did this so well and I did this so well. Like, why does this keep happening? So I think that's when failure really affects me in Souls games, when I get to that point where I'm just like, what can I do different? Because whatever I'm doing is just not working.
I was waiting to see if anybody had a response to what you said.
Oh.
But,
Go ahead.
But now I'll continue. I think for me, like, I think the only time failure really hits hard in a Souls game, for me, is when I know exactly what I did wrong, and I'm like, crap, if I just done that different, I wouldn't have failed. Or when I think I'm going to, like, when I'm like this close to like first trying something or getting through an area or something, and then at the very last second, you get like one-shotted or something, that stings a little bit more than usual. But other than that, I mean, I think failure is mostly just learning opportunities in those games. I mean, obviously it's frustrating, and learning in real life can be frustrating. You run your head into a wall a billion times doing something in real life, and then you finally succeed, and it's great. So I mean, it's kind of the same concept in the Souls games, unless in a Souls game that something was completely avoidable and then you fell, and then you're like, I know exactly why that happened, and it's frustrating. But yeah, no, I think I think failure in the games is good. I think it teaches you. So yeah, that's my answer. I don't have any guilt about Night Rain. If people die in Night Rain, we just all die together. So
it's a group effort to die together.
That is true.
Continuing on, we are looking at kind of more like into the content creation aspect of things. And like I said, I'm not going to answer a question first, so this is going to get bumped down to Sarah for first. Do you see a parallel between growing as a player and growing as a creator of sorts? Whatever creator means to you.
Yeah. I would say so. I feel like actually playing my first playthroughs of Souls games has been some of the most fun content that I have had on, like, well, just on the internet. Like when I stream my first playthroughs, I feel like it's more fun for me because I have like people there to watch and experience the dumb stuff that I've run into. And I don't know, I feel like the community also understands, like, especially people who've already played the games and have experienced it, like they watch you do it and they're like, I wasn't going to tell you about that. I'm so glad I got to watch you experience that, like, in real time, like me getting jump scared by something. And even like just like becoming part of the Fire Keepers, like I have met so many other creators. I've gained a lot of confidence, I think, as well, in like talking about Souls games, because I used to not feel confident at all talking about, like different builds. I would have never said that I would be the right person to go on a podcast and talk about Souls games at all either. So I think just in general, it's helped me grow as a creator and as a person too.
I love it. That's like really what the thing is. If you're playing things and you aren't able to, and I'm not necessarily grow specifically as a creator, but like grow as a person, like what are you getting out of your gameplay? I love it. So Joe and Tay, do you think there's a parallel between growing as a player and growing as a creator?
Oh, do you want me to tackle this one first?
Yeah, I guess, because I'm, yeah, I don't know.
So I think there is a parallel. I think with content creation and also gaming, you're gonna get highs and you're gonna get lows, and especially gaming, you're gonna come up on challenges, you're gonna be beat down, I can't do this, you're gonna get in that mentality, and then you're gonna get to that point where you do achieve it and you get where you're going. Hopefully you achieve your dreams, things like that. So I think those things do overlap, I guess correlate.
I think that Souls games teach you to step out of your comfort zone, and that's something that you have to do as a content creator, because none of us is like 100% comfortable with being in front of a camera for hours on end, or being on a mic for hours on end, or talking to people, or meeting new people constantly. Like, everybody has their own struggles, and I think everybody has different struggles in Souls games as well, and there's definitely parallels between that and like the challenges you face in life and the challenges you face as a content creator, and just like overcoming those hurdles. I think it makes you a better problem solver. I think it makes you more resilient. Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of parallels you could draw from it, but definitely doing something that makes you uncomfortable. Souls games make you uncomfortable and are difficult, and sometimes streaming can be really difficult and also make you uncomfortable. So, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I like that you bring in like the aspect of how not everyone's comfortable sitting, in the same chair for 6, 7, 8 hours. People who do long streams like boggles my brain. I'm just like, nope, I'm like a good little 3 hours and I'm happy. Like, as long as I don't have to skip my nap, I'm fine, because I'm both 5 years old but also like 80 and I need my naps. Continuing on, little one you are, how do you feel like, is there a parallel between growing as a player and growing as a creator in this space?
I feel like there definitely is, because, like, as examples have been given, like, there's definitely a lot of parallels between, like, these games and, like, especially content creation, because, like, you'll have kind of, in comparison to, like, boss fights, you'll have these walls that you'll run into, whether they're technical, mental, something that's going on in real life, things like that. And, like, playing these games and experiencing them with my community, and like being able to have that community grow and being able to like meet other people through that, I feel like has kind of helped expand kind of some of that stuff in my real life, as far as like content creation and like being more comfortable with like trying new things, because I get scared and my anxiety really likes to tell me that I can't do things, but I like to try to tell it when I can that it's wrong, and then try that thing, and then it just doesn't end up being as scary once you try it. And so I kind of feel like there's parallels with that too.
Yeah, the anxiety aspect, absolutely, I get that, because like our brains, they do bad things and they tell us bad things, and to be able to like combat that and be like, actually, brain, I'm actually really good at this one thing, is a great tool that I hope more people can develop for themselves, and because everyone deserves to have that opportunity to be like, actually, no, brain, you're wrong this time. To answer the question myself, is there a parallel? I think absolutely. Like, Dark Souls has pushed me in ways that I did not think I was going to be pushed. I was just like, yeah, this is a cute, silly game. Like, I was watching JenIsOnline play Elden Ring, and she made it seem like so fun and lighthearted, and I was just like, oh, what do you mean this is the game people are like saying terrible things about and being like, it's one of the hardest games you'll ever play? And I was like, Jen's out here having a great time. What do you mean? It looks so much fun. And then I played, and I was like, oh my god, okay, this is a thing. And then it became like, now I get to, I have found enjoyment in it, and so much enjoyment that it has really pushed me to do other things. Like, I'm hosting special events once a month to talk about Dark Souls. this podcast. Also, like, it's pushed my YouTube content as well. I post shorts or videos every single day now, and I have for the past almost 22 weeks because of Dark Souls. There's not been a single day that's been missed, and that push for me has been really big because, like, I can see that growth and I see that, and I've like, you know, it has opened a door into meeting other people like all of you. You know, would we know each other if it wasn't for Dark Souls? Like, would we be a part of the Firekeepers? Would Jen have another type of stream team that she hosts that, you know, isn't Souls related? Would it still have brought together the same amount of people? It probably might not have. And, you know, getting to play Dark Souls and then being invited to join the Firekeepers has been this huge, like, motivator for me. I'm like, I can do big things, and if I can't do big things, I can at least say that I tried. So, I feel like that's a big part for me. I think we have time for maybe, like, one more question, so I do want to end on a silly one, and then I'll have you guys do, like, little shameless plugs, tell us all about you and the things you do, and then we'll head on out. So I asked this question in the last one, and I really liked it, and so I want to ask you guys the same one on an ending note. My brain is already, like, crispy. I still can't remember who Sarah went first last time because I just ended. Correct? No? Maybe? Yes? Sarah, did you go first last time?
I think,
No, I think we went first.
You went first.
Didn't we?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yes. Okay. So that means, little one you are, you're going first for our last question. Let me scroll and find it. If you had to take one NPC to a karaoke bar, who would it be, and what song are they singing?
oh my goodness. Well, this is a hard one. Oh, my first thought is Solaire and singing Here Comes the Sun, because the sun. But, oh jeez.
That's so perfect.
Okay. There's a, oh gosh, I'm like trying to think of like ones because I don't want to say any like spoiler names. But there is a Jar character in Elden Ring, and I would really, really like to have him come with me to a karaoke bar. And let's see, what would we sing? What would be the song? I think that's even the hardest part of it. There's so many different ones. Song for Night at the Roxbury. I don't know why. I just feel like it'd be a fun jam.
The What Is Love song?
Yes, thank you. Brain was not braining.
Yes.
I feel like you could shake and be good with that.
Oh yeah, just the head. I don't know what character you're talking about, but absolutely. If they have a head, they can be bopping.
It works.
The last time I answered this, I said Sif, and we were going to sing Who Let the Dogs Out.
That's gonna be my answer!
Yes. Amazing.
I'm sorry, I give you time to think of another one. I think this time around, I want to bring... Oh. There is an NPC you can summon to fight a moth boss. I think her name is Beatrice. Not the moth, the NPC. The NPC's name is Beatrice. And my brain...
PTSD from that moth.
I have PTSD from Beatrice. Her AI got all messed up during the first time I went in with it. And she just stood there, and I was like, I just remember like rapidly rolling and being like, Beatrice, do something, and she wasn't doing anything, and I was just like, cool, thank you. But I'm gonna bring her, and we are gonna sing "Witchy Woman." That's just my
It's
vibe.
cute.
Now that I get to answer this question every month, I have to think of something new. So, Sarah, sorry, I kind of took your answer, but if you want to still do that one, absolutely.
No, I'm not gonna do that one. I definitely would probably take. So this is gonna sound weird. Lautrec. Of Karim from Dark Souls 1. I don't have a song off the top of my head because I'm really bad at remembering the names of songs, but it would definitely be one about betrayal.
It's so vague. I love it. I don't know who that is, but I will meet them and I'll know. I'll be like, Sarah's gonna take you out to karaoke. I'll let them know.
You better sing a song about betraying me.
Oh no! No, whoever that is, they're now sus. But trust me, I will forget that name in like 5 minutes. So, goldfish brain at its best for things like this. Joe and Tay. NPC
You have
and
yours?
karaoke.
I'm gonna let you go first.
Okay, this is a deep cut. You can be like, what? Not the character. The character is not a deep cut, but I would take Onion Knight. For one very particular reason, and it's what he already does, which is and we would sing a song by the Crash Test Dummies that's literally called because this is a song from the 90s, by the way. It's not a good song, but the entire chorus of the song is and I just think that Onion Knight would be perfect for it because he already does it.
And he's got that reverb built in.
That's right. Yep. Yep.
So I think mine would be there's an NPC summon in the Elden Ring DLC that you bring him in. His story revolves around this boss, so it's definitely recommended to bring him in. And he yells a lot during the fight. He yells at the boss. I think he would be great to take to a karaoke bar and just have him belt out some Metallica. There's not one Metallica song, that I can think of, but just anything. I think he's got the pipes for it. But I think he'd probably be a lot of fun.
Yes, that's so good.
Uh-huh.
You guys have lots of fun answers. Thank you again so much for spending your evening with me. I had a really great time chatting with you guys. I am gonna allow you, we're gonna go around a little circle, tell us about yourselves, do a little shameless plug and the things and stuff, and then we will head on out. I made Sarah go first last time, so let's start off with where we just left the last answer. Joe and Tay, little shameless plug, tell us about you.
I did it at the beginning. You do it now.
Right. So we do stream every Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern. Sunday is our dedicated Souls night. So anytime you come in on a Sunday night, we are always going to be playing a Souls game of some type. We're probably actually going to be going back into our Bloodborne BL4 challenge run because I really want to go ahead and knock it out since we are in the DLC. We've also started playing some horror games since Halloween is coming up soon. So currently we are playing Evil Within. It's my first playthrough, not Joseph's first playthrough. And we are planning to do some different events for the month of October, like some pumpkin carvings, maybe building a little Halloween Lego, some stuff like that. So that's what you can find on our channel and what we're up to right now.
Good job.
Thanks. Oh, and if you do want to follow us on socials, we are on most of the socials.
We're real bad at it.
We're not very good at it.
Very bad
Joe
at
and Tay's
social
Let's
media.
Plays. And if you can't find us with that name, you can try JT Let's Plays.
We're very consistent for about 2 weeks posting things,
And then life happens.
And then 6 months later, we're like, oh, we haven't posted anything in 6 months. So yeah, that's
relatable.
unfortunate for me. Yeah.
Get it. All right, little one, you want to tell us about you?
I stream on Saturdays, Sundays, and Mondays. I'm kind of playing a little bit of a some mix of games right now. Currently, I just started playing Silent Hill F because I do like playing horror games, but I'm also going through my first playthrough of Dark Souls 3, the base game, as well as I'm going to get back into speedrunning Bloodborne because it just takes a lot of mental focus that I have not really had over the last couple of months. And so, but I'm hoping to get run in sub 2 hours, and we're almost there. So yeah, and then I am Little When You Are on pretty much all socials. And yeah.
Awesome. And Sarah?
Well, I am Sarah Bear, or Tis Sarah Bera, and you can find me everywhere on the internet at Tis Sarah Bera. And I just started my first playthrough of Sekiro, so that's going to be my main game that I play. But with Halloween coming through, I may attempt Outlast 2 again. I haven't fully decided, but because the last time I played it, it made me so scared I got sick from my blood pressure. I'm not the best with horror games, so there's other options out there. But I change my schedule weekly, so I'm most likely going to be streaming starting at 6:30 on weekdays, though. And yeah, and I play a lot of Souls games. I play a bunch of open world RPG, big story games like God of War and Assassin's Creed and Avatar Frontiers, and some indie games thrown in. And yeah.
Well, awesome. And then I am Candy, Late Night Candy. You can find me everywhere on the internet as Late Night Candy. I play Souls games. I started my very first playthrough of Resident Evil on Wednesday. So I'm starting off with Resident Evil 1, and it's already super fun. I learned the hard way how important saving is. That was rough. But other than that, Halloween's coming up. I'm on the road to 3K followers, which when I hit, I will do a 10 hours of terror stream. So looking forward to that. 10 different horror games for an hour each for a 10-hour stream, and that is my plan whenever I hit that. And other than that, I thank you again so much for all joining in, showing interest, joining in. If you are interested in joining any of the other ones in the future, different questions are going to be asked except for the karaoke bar one. So if you want to come back and you have an answer prepared, absolutely. But thank you again all so much for being here and being interested and allowing me to take a couple hours of your time. I so appreciate you all.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, fun. Thank you.
This is good. A lot of
This
good
was awesome.
questions.
Yes, I'm so glad. I'm glad. Yeah.
Thank you, chat, for being engaging as
Yeah.
well.
Mhm.
Yeah, thank you everybody that
Yes.
came to hang out as well.
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely. Loves for everyone.
And shout out to Jen. Jen is online because we wouldn't be doing this without her.
Yeah, absolutely.
Big shout out to her.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So
All the love.
all the love, yes. I will let you all go. I am going to go ahead and wrap things up, and we're gonna raid out. So I will let you guys hop on out of this Discord call, and I will send the video and all of the things in our little group chat. And one more time, thank you all so much, and I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your night.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hope you all have a good
night.
weekend.
Have a good one.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
See ya. Bye.